Oh, big girl. Hello. If you are watching this on the playback, hey, I'm Sarah. This is a live for people who are questioning their faith or deconstructing their faith and are looking for a place to connect, maybe to meet some people or to ask questions. Yeah. So just a little background. I grew up Protestant, Christian, probably, I mean, you could categorize it like evangelical. And now I consider myself an agnostic atheist. Hey, Raven, good to see you. Hope everyone's having a good start to the week. I talk about hell a lot because that was really instrumental in my deconstruction. Hey, Stevie. Hi, Herman. Hey, CB. Hello, hello. I have Checkers here too. She's feeling snuggly tonight. Oh, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. It was Doug's will. Exactly. Hey, Katie. Yeah. That last caller stressed me out. Oh, man. Yeah. Thanks, Dr. Joe. Hi. Good to see you. Hey, Cindy. Yeah, you can watch it back, so don't worry. Also, Ruby is like glaring at me right now, and I don't totally know why. What's up, big girl? You irritated with me? I'm sorry. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and do that. Great. I know, she's such a sweetheart. She makes a very good pillow. Okay, back. I lost the stream already. Hopefully the thing doesn't happen that happened last time where I went like the whole stream and then it wouldn't end. How long were you a Christian and what denomination? I was a Christian for about 25 years. And I was a couple different denominations, but they were all Protestant. So I just say I was a Protestant. I'd be crashing. Hey, John, good to see you. Oh, CB says, it strikes me as a bit strange that people of all sorts of beliefs seem to treat their pets better than they treat a lot of their fellow human beings. People seem to like to yell at one another. I've seen it both ways, honestly. Being nicer to animals and being less kind. Thanks, Kedzooks. I don't know. We should ask Justin. I'm sure we will collaborate again soon. We're recording another episode of our Evangelical Bible study this week, so I'll ask him. Were you hardcore Reformed Christianity? I went to a Reformed church in college, but I didn't like fully absorb all of that theology. So I didn't believe in predestination, even though logically that's sort of what I believed. I think I had a lot of cognitive dissonance about it, honestly. Savant. A pluot. Is that a plum apricot? Oh, alter ego. I love that. Hey, absurdist. 369 says, been using my story writing to help deconstruct for a while. Using Christianity the same way I use Greek or Norse mythology has really helped me see the tropes at play. Oh, that's interesting. Huh, cool. Ruby, stop it. Thanks, Stevie. Yeah, it is really interesting to look at the Bible as mythology. Um, and not in a, I mean, sometimes I think people can use that word in like a mocking, derogatory way. Um, but truly as like you can use myths and mythology to learn about your own culture and to learn important lessons, and so I don't mean that in a negative way. Thanks, BRB. Yeah, we didn't get a lot of good callers, which was a bummer. But it was a fun time. I mean, I love Taylor. She's great. You are yellow, John. Absurdist says, should I be morally conflicted working for a Christian organization to help people while not being Christian myself? I doubt it. I don't think so. Unless, I don't know, somehow you had to lie to get the position, and you spend your days converting people to the religion. Hey, Ekta. Yeah, they did have trouble with the system that it just kept dropping people. We felt really bad about that. Well, then, absurdist, I don't see a moral issue then. Oh man, I read The Great Gatsby in high school. I don't remember a lot about it, like whether I liked it or not. Hey, Duck. Yeah, I thought, I don't know. It's nice to kind of just be in this space for a little while. Like, this is chill for me, but like being on a show, I'm a little more like, so yeah, I just thought it'd be nice to come hang out. What motivates you to appear and speak publicly on atheism and deconstruction? As an ex-Christian, are you trying to convince others to also see the truth from your perspective? So for me, the biggest motivator is for people to not feel alone. For people who are going through this process, I want them to have a place to ask questions and a place to have community. So that's my biggest driving factor. I think also it's cathartic for me to be able to talk about these things. Like I went so many years without discussing it. And so I really genuinely enjoy the conversations. How long ago did you leave the faith? No, not recently, 2009. Yeah, Gadzooks, I'm glad you got to choose as an adult then. Cindy says, absurdist, I work at a Christian preschool, so I know how you feel. I have to keep it to myself, which is okay by me. It's just a job and I enjoy it. I just have to let people assume I'm a Christian. Yeah, I get that too. Sometimes people assume that that's my belief system, and yeah, it's okay. Hi, 11. Oh, thank you so much. Shannington says, I came across your channel via Justin and I love your approach. I'm watching your Evangelical Bible Study series and have learned a ton. Can't wait to see your channel keep growing. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thanks. What does leaving the faith mean? It means I went through a period of questioning and deconstructing, and I'm at the point that I used to be a Christian and I no longer am. Yeah, Alter Ego says, I don't get to have these conversations or listen to them in my normal life. Very awesome to be surrounded by like-minded people and able to do it openly. Yeah, I agree. I don't have these conversations like in my personal life or in my work life. And I think maybe that's also why I keep doing this, because it is just this little tiny piece of my life, but I enjoy that. You mentioned annihilationism on chewed gum. Somehow, even though it's what I expect as an atheist, the idea that there's an agent behind it is still really repulsive. Yeah, I mean, it's weird for a God to say, well, some of you come live with me forever, and some of you I'm just going to eliminate. It certainly is different than if that was just a natural process. Do you not believe God is real? Yeah, I don't believe in any God. So any God from any religion. Do I celebrate Christmas? I actually do, but just the secular parts of it. Have you read much process theology? I don't know. I don't know what that is. What's process theology? Do you know of Carl Jung? I do. Hi, David. Oh, CB says, thanks for the answer. It sounds like your younger self could have used someone like your current self. Oh, man. Yeah, I would like to give her a hug for sure. Can I convert you to Islam? You cannot. Hey, Fancy. Thanks so much for watching. Hi, Angel. What are we talking about? We are talking a little bit about hell. What are your thoughts on knowing God is real? I mean, I think there are people who have had experiences in which whatever experience they had, they feel certain. I don't think I can demonstrate God's existence via science. Oh, thanks, David. Oh, hey, big girl. Ruby's here for some scritches. Yeah. Yes, your spot, huh? Go, baby. She has like the biggest head ever. It's so cute. Yes, you do. It's a big head. Thanks, CB. Do you still have checkers? I do. In fact, she's. Oh, see if I can get. I'm sorry, checkers. Hang on. I just want to show you to all my friends. She's hanging out with me tonight. Where's your cute little ears? There you go. Sweet little ears is. Yeah, she's a good bunny. Good bunny. Girl. She's such a cutie pie. If heaven were real, why does anyone think that everyone would just be welcome? I'm sure you have to have something as a requirement, and that's easy enough to understand. It depends on what you think God is and what you think we are in relation to God and what the other options are. Um, like if I had a whole bunch of children, they would all be welcome in my house, no questions asked, no requirements. So like, are we supposed to be God's children or are we just his servants? It's not that cut and dry. Process theologians see God as relational, not controlling, loving the world moment by moment rather than overriding it. Do they believe God created everything? And does God have like foreknowledge? Or does he not know how things are going to turn out? Checkers always looks like Michael Corleone during the christening when he's handling all family business. Fancy says, the idea of heaven being one endless worship service where all we do is praise God forever and ever is really terrible if you think about it. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't sound great. Hey, Matthew. Rose, hi. Mm, 369 says, the final nail for me was realizing that if God were real, he would know that I would be questioning things and therefore know exactly what to do if he really wanted to convince me, yet doesn't. Crocodile says, I believe you are a fractal of source, God, that incarnated in the physical form and passed through the veil of forgetfulness so you could experience your own creation. That sounds a little like, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of a good word to describe that. But like, I'm God and I made myself forget just so I could have this experience, even though I know what's going to happen. There's a word, like, not like placating, but like, I don't know. Like pretending, like acting like I have control when I don't. Hey, heathen. Huh, that's interesting. Badass vegan. Oh, thanks. Seal says, I saw that video of your discussing with that Christian woman about the fact you can't choose to believe. I give you big credit for staying composed during that. She was so insufferable. That was such a hard conversation because it started off, I thought like, oh, she's going to be kind and like, we're going to have a good conversation. And naive, I guess, on my part, but I didn't see it going as dark as it got. And I did get pretty frustrated by the end, honestly. Are you ex-Christian or just ex-evangelical Christian? I am not any type of Christian at all any longer. So I'm an agnostic atheist. Thanks, Tuck. He did confuse himself with his own jargon. Oh my gosh. He then says, I recently watched a talk where you mentioned rapture practice, and it reminded me of the time I was cast as Isaac in a church play and nearly sacrificed in front of hundreds of people. That should have made more people consider Isaac's point of view, but I bet it didn't. Oh, Kyle, thank you. That's really kind. Kyle says, your incredible composure in all dialogues is what keeps me coming back, even though I'm a theist. I have mad respect. That's very nice. Thank you so much. Collapsitalism. Thank you so much for the super chat. Says, oh, I definitely could tell that woman was going to go off the rails as soon as she said what she did about her daughters. Yeah, that's true. That's fair. That was, oh, man. Yeah. Working Clash says, I thought pescatarian was a Christian denomination for a second there. Thanks, Prestige. Is rapture practice like how my grandparents had nuclear war drills back in high school? Kind of, although it was supposed to be fun and not terrifying. But we did it in VBS, and the lady had like a trumpet sound, and so she's like, okay, 1, 2, 3, burr, 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 and then we would all jump. Grayson, scientists have not found the remains of Noah's Ark. That's been coming up since the 80s, and every time that the evidence is clear that it is a natural rock formation. It's not Noah's Ark. I'm sorry. Oh, Fancy says, speaking of rapture practice, did anyone get freaked out when they couldn't reach their Christian friends in the 90s and think somehow they got left behind? Thanks, Owl. Is anyone here old enough to remember the Gong Show? No, sorry. Although I felt very old when on the line tonight when Taylor was like, I had no idea who Kirk Cameron was. I'm like, what? BRB says, how about a heaven where everyone goes? No one can abuse anyone anymore, but you can only experience it as heaven to the extent that you welcome everyone else. Oh, I have to think through that. That sounds like it would have some complications. Well, hey, Gregorov. Yeah, Seal says, what really bothers me is that every Christian will tell you that it's your problem if you either have no faith or lost it. It's always on you. Yeah. I mean, I think, what you run into is that if it's not my fault, then it's God's fault. And it can't be God's fault. Therefore, it has to be my fault. Rose, no, you don't know who Kirk Cameron is? I couldn't. Growing Pains. Growing Pains was the show, right? He was on a sitcom, I guess was that the 90s, in the 90s? And then became like super Christian. No, the marks on the Grand Canyon are not from a global flood either. I'm sorry. Life of a Bud. Hi. Well, thanks so much. Oh, fireproof. I know, Greg. Ugh. How could it be God's fault? Well, if you believe that God designed everything, created everything, and knew how it was all going to turn out before he even started, then technically everything is God's responsibility. Linz, where did you look when you say you looked into evolution? Am I a determinist? I don't know, maybe? I'm wishy-washy on it. You know what, Jeffrey? I would love to make that flow chart. Jeffrey says, I'd like to see a multi-level flow chart showing all the Christian excuse/answers for all the reasonable questions that non-believers ask. I should make that flow chart. Cole says, what about the idea that intelligent design is needed for life? You have not demonstrated that intelligent design is needed for life. Oh, yeah. Duck says, I only remember Candace from Full House until tonight. I actually didn't know they were brother and sister. Yep. Just because a scientist says something doesn't make it true. Yes. So when scientists publish their research, that's where you can check. That's where you can see the facts. Oh, I hope your cat's okay, absurdist. Do you believe we have no responsibility to ourselves? No, I think we have all the responsibility to ourselves. It would be a Christian position that everything is God's responsibility. I think we're entirely responsible for our actions. Collapse, thank you so much for the super chat. Collapse says, my theory, since it was death cult, they just had Jesus impersonators until it was a state religion. Then the Vatican hides all the books talking about it. You know, this is actually something that Justin talks about, how having people raising from the dead was like not common, but there are lots of stories of people who raised from the dead in that time period. And there was an impersonator of Nero who claimed that he was Nero risen from the dead, and was so convincing that he convinced like a whole bunch of Roman soldiers to go start a battle. So it's not the craziest idea. Oh, I need to plug my phone in. And Tex says, I think the Christian version of peer review is get behind me, Satan. So if God makes a good world and we destroy it, how is it his fault? Um, so again, if you believe that God created everything, that means literally everything. It means that God designed us. He designed how we would act. God designed the laws of nature, the laws of physics. He designed what consequences sin would have. And so, like, I think you're not giving God enough credit if you think he really made absolutely everything. Hi, Kyle. Well, thank you so much for the super chat. Kyle says, Happy Tuesday, some good coffee and tea change. Well, thank you. That's so kind. I really appreciate it. Do I hate Christians? No, not at all. Hi, Rachel. Hey, Chip. Joe says, anyone who believes in evolution probably has no idea what's inside the moon. What do you think is inside the moon? I was, Creed. No, I don't blame God for anything. I don't think God exists. Heathen, thank you so much for the super chat. Heathen says, what's more likely, God broke the laws of physics to flood the whole world, or ancient humans settled near water sources? I'm taking the latter. Yeah, I think a local flood would certainly have made much more sense. Jeez. I do not believe in God, no. Cole says all sorts of cultures and religions recall a flood. That is true. It happens in many religions and cultures. However, there are also cultures who kept pretty good records, pretty good, who don't have a flood, which means, like, for all of the cultures around the globe, if there was one global flood, then everyone's records would have reflected that, or all the records would have been lost in the flood. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Not all cultures existed immediately after the flood. No, I would imagine not. Right? So if, depending on how long ago you think the flood would have been, you've got what, 8, 10 people to repopulate the whole planet? Oh, thanks. Jose Salazar says, Hi, Sarah. Justin is always talking good about your channel, and I'm on board. You're great. May the universe give you more. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. The records that don't reflect it didn't make it. But there are records going back tens of thousands of years. So we shouldn't have the records that we do if there was truly a global flood. Am I a Baptist? I am not. What kind of Christian were you? I was a Protestant Christian. Okay, if you hear little sounds, Those are like happy bunny honks. I'm gonna try and like, I didn't know that bunnies made a sound. Oops. She was making little tiny honking sounds. They're so cute. Okay, well, I don't know if you could hear them. They were very quiet. I know, I need a bunny cam, really. Fancy Pants says, bunny treats? Thank you so much for the super chat. Yes, we should do some bunny treats. Hang on. Hi, cutie pie. Do you want some treats? Why don't you come with me? It's so fun when she gets something crunchy. Okay. Whoop. I'm gonna go get you a little treat, okay? Bunny Cam Fund. Yeah, I could ask Justin how he set up his. Oh, Meatball, what are you doing up here? Come here, cutie pie. You guys want to meet Meatball? Let me get a... Come here, baby. Come here. Get in. Well, hang on. Here comes Checkers. I'll show you Checkers. Oops, wait, I did a bad job. There we go. Okay, you ready? Okay, Meatball's gonna come up the stairs, I bet. Come here, baby. You want this? Come on. Come on. Come up here where it's light. No, you don't want to. Here you go, cutie pie. There you go. This is Meatball. Sorry, it's kind of... Let me turn this off. Maybe I don't know how to. There we go. Here you go, sweet baby. She's bigger than Checkers. Hey, sorry, I won't bother you while you eat. Chomp, 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 chomp. All right, Chex. Where did you go? You took your treat somewhere else? Oh, well. Oh, she's in her little box. You in your box? Crunch, crunch, crunch. There you go, sweet pea. Oh, David, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Dave says, thank you for being such a kind person and helping people. My absolute pleasure. Well, now you guys got to meet Meatball. So I have two bunnies, Checkers and Meatball. Hi, Michelle. Duck says, I was beginning to become agnostic about your other bunny. Yeah, she's not as social. Why dedicate yourself to discussing something that doesn't exist? Couple of reasons. I am here actually for people who don't believe it anymore either. It's a really hard, painful, lonely experience to question your faith. If you're like me and it was your whole life, losing that is terrible and hard and lonely. So I want to create a place for people who are going through that as well, so that they don't have to do it alone. Sorry, I'm just plugging my phone back in. Cute Puppy says, the greater the complexity, the more likely something evolved rather than was created. Humans are no longer capable of designing computer chips. Trees are far more complex and self-replicate. We're not capable of designing computers. I don't know what that part means.